Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I am your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 170, and it's about how to choose a mental health professional / therapist. I know I sound awful, and I've been awful. I've had the flu. I got home from Mexico a little over a week ago. I was able to do a meetup with my patrons virtually, and I felt great, and things got a little iffy the next day, and then I woke up Tuesday morning definitely sick. Took one of those tests, they have the COVID plus flu A and B tests, 3 in 1 now. Took one of those immediately. The flu A was like a fluorescent red line. Like, okay, well, that makes sense. And so that's what I did last week. My brother and my sister-in-law both had this flu and urged me, like, look, don't try to work at all. You're just gonna keep staying sick for longer. Rest so hard, make it your whole fucking identity to be couch rotting, do nothing. And I took their advice very seriously because I couldn't have worked if I wanted to. It would not have happened. Because my brain has not been functional. I have not said a clever thing in a week. I don't even know if I'll say something clever today. We'll see. I did manage to get my hands on a prescription for Tamiflu, which involved jumping through all the hoops. I won't go into that story, but our healthcare system is such bullshit. Such bullshit. Anyway, I did end up getting what I needed, and I think that shaved a couple days off of the illness, combined with the fact that I literally just sat on the couch. Luckily, Manflesh had a flu shot. I didn't fucking do it. I didn't get my damn flu shot, alright? I didn't do it. I wish I had. I'll be doing it next year. I've never had the flu, so surely I just don't get the flu. Nope, just been a lucky bitch up until now. So the flu sucks. Don't do it. And if you do get it, just stay home. Stay home and couch rot. If at all possible. You can make up for it. So I'm still crawling out of that. So there'll be a snarfly quality to my voice today. Sorry. But I thought it was probably good timing to talk about how to choose a mental health professional or a therapist or psychologist, whatever it is. How to choose such a person, especially because most of us are realizing some for the first time, wow, I might need that. Yeah, everybody needs some support. And friends are great. Sometimes you need a professional. But let's talk about that first. Why would you need a therapist if you're not going through an active divorce or etc. One, we're all going through an active divorce because we're alive in the year 2026 and the whole world is divorcing itself. Old systems are proving futile and they're crumbling as they were designed to crumble. They were always going to self-implode. And it seems like we're going to get to see what that looks like. These old paradigms crumbling under their own weight. And it's not like anyone is born equipped to deal with that. I mean, let it all be drinking champagne at that big bonfire, but it's still going to be a thing to live through this. You may already see that I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of mental health support. I'm a big fan of therapy. I believe in talking about it loudly and being like, my therapist says blah, 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 blah. anything to destigmatize what needing support. Are you kidding? Are we still having this conversation? Obviously we need support. And I know that it's like me being whatever about it isn't going to stop a stigma just because I have strong feelings that everyone should get the support they need. And sometimes our friends are not equipped to help us deal with something. And sometimes we have space away from friends and loved ones. And sometimes people don't have fucking friends. And they just don't have that as a resource. Someone needs to be looking out for you other than just you. And sometimes it's just super helpful to have a neutral other party that you can explain a situation in your life, because sometimes we're just too damn close. And someone who has, professional training on what can support a healthy human psyche. And sometimes you just get to explain a situation and watch their face as they're like, oh, reacting to it. And you realize, okay, this was a thing. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I do, in fact, need support around this. Yeah. But these are all, I'm just waffling on about reasons that I think everyone at some point or another could use some support in terms of therapy or a mental health professional. But let's say we've already come to that conclusion, and now you have to find someone, and I get it. One, as I aforementioned, are in the United States, at least, this is the only one I know intimately, our healthcare system is so fucked. It is one of those structures I mentioned before, crumbling under its own weight, completely ineffective. Not completely ineffective, highly ineffective for those who are most vulnerable and who need it the most. Unless you have a shit ton of money. That's not the vulnerable people that I'm talking about. But it does mean that there are certain parameters in place. One, if you have health insurance, then you feel obliged to choose someone who's covered underneath your health insurance. Of all of the therapists that I have worked with in my lifetime, the ones that were best and most effective for me didn't take insurance. They were like, nah, fuck that, and just did like a cash only system. And it depends on where you are in your life if you're going to be able to sustain that or not. I mean, we're talking anywhere from 85 to 175 bucks a pop. Well worth it if that's the difference between you feeling well and you not feeling well. But it is a matter of resources. So decide first, like, what parameters you're going to be able to work inside of sustainably. Like, do you need to find someone that your insurance will cover or reimburse you for? Or can you pay cash out of pocket? Okay, that's your first set of parameters to look for. And now we will have narrowed it down from like the entire world to just an enormous ocean. I understand how overwhelming this process can be. And it's just a list of names on a computer. And you're like, I don't know. Who are these people? And I'm just supposed to call them and then tell them my most intimate secrets. And then maybe we jive and maybe I hate them or maybe they're annoying. And basically, I don't want to bum anyone out, but I want to set an expectation that there may very well may be some trial and error. Like, you may have to try a few different people before you find someone that's a good fit for you. That's normal. It is normal. So if the first person you try isn't a great fit, just know that, that's not uncommon. Not at all. For example, I have lived here since 2018. It's now 2026. I think I'm on my 6th therapist here. I went through a lot, and I have really high standards. in this particular way. One, you can't make a bunch of jokes and talk over me. Like, this is my time. Like, don't fucking talk over me. This is not about you. It's about me. If sometimes I'd have to fire a therapist because I found them to be judgmental, and they had clear judgments about me or my life or my choices that they weren't able to keep neutral, or they got really cagey anytime sex came up. Like, they just shrink into themselves. You're like, okay, well, this is part of the human experience, so if you can't handle talking about that, then I'm going to go elsewhere. And sometimes a therapist is just going to be useful to you for a season in your life, and that's okay. Like, probably the most effective therapist I've ever worked with was during a time of crisis, and she was completely unprofessional, very rude. Honestly, can't believe that she's still in practice, but for the short period of time that I worked with her, maybe 4 or 5 months, she was the difference between me being healthy and me being really dysfunctional. So she was great during that crisis. And after I emerged from that crisis, I'm like, okay, now your unprofessionalism and the fact that you're kind of a dick is an issue. So I stopped seeing her after that. And that's okay. I mean, if you asked her, she'd be like, who? I don't know. Yeah. So let's get back to how to be making this choice that could be really influential and helpful in your life. And the resources I'm about to tell you are all from my dear friend, Janelle Peters, aka Janelle Dinosaurs. Janelle is a mental health professional themselves. And if they could be my therapist, I would jump on that shit in a heartbeat. But we have a really long-standing friendship, and even before that, we were like professionally linked in the circus community, so they can't be my therapist. But they could be yours if you live in Colorado or Wyoming. But Janelle gave me the following resources, and these are going to be linked in the show notes as well. The first one is a website called inclusivetherapists.com. And this is a pretty amazing resource. Like, you can search, I mean, obviously, as the name implies, these are professionals that include affirming inclusivity as, the whole reason that they're in practice. And as the grand majority of my listeners are neurodivergent, marginalized in one way or another, usually multiple, and 99.9% queer, I think inclusivity would be important to pretty much every single one of you. So it's a really cool resource, and I was just spent some time looking at it, and you can search by location, and it will show you not only like licensed therapists, but also like life coaches if you want to go that way. That's like up to you. But you can search by like how the therapist identifies what their specialties are, what their cultural knowledge is, like what cultural background do they come from, and it's just it's pretty cool. So I'll link that in the show notes. Take a look at that if you want, if you fancy a jaunt on the internet. And the other resource that I would recommend you take a look at once you think you have a good idea of who you'd like to work with is psychologytoday.com, because you can look up your therapist on psychologytoday.com and you can read about their specialties, and it is an opportunity for mental health professionals to like have a profile that's verified, that with the picture. Half of the time when I've been looking for therapists like through my insurance, and they're just faceless little icons, like they could have put a picture here, but no one ever bothered to make it a real profile. So it just goes such a long way to me to look up a mental health professional on Psychology Today and see an actual profile with, pictures and something that they've clearly written themselves. And Psychology Today is also useful if you want to find treatment centers or support groups in your area. So that's it for resources for right now. Otherwise, if you're new to this whole situation, here's some other intel for you. A psychiatrist, in my experience, a psychiatrist has the highest education and is therefore able to prescribe medicine, which ends up being, in my opinion, their primary function. Manflesh and I have a joke where we call them drug dealers because they end up just asking about how the prescriptions are going, and basically that tends to be like the only thing that we have found they are much good for. Maybe we haven't found great psychiatrists. Actually, mine is that I have right now is really great, but I don't see her for talk therapy. I see her for as needed. If I need a prescription, that is who I can go to and speak with. But if you do not want medication and you just want to talk to someone who has training, then a psychiatrist may not be the way to go. And I would not say that the highest education possible equals a good therapist at all, because some of the best help I've ever gotten has been from folks who had a master's in social work, which, by the way, is pretty fucking high education. It's just not a doctor. And I've had some pretty shit help from doctors. So don't be all doctoritis-y about it while you're looking for someone to help you and to support you. Really, your gut is going to be your best friend when trying to find like this person, a person that you can click with, that you can be honest with and feel comfortable with. And decide for yourself, like, do you want to go into someone's office and like sit across from them? Or do you just want to like do this from home and put the little noise machine on outside the door? I have done both, and they both have their merits. Now, if I had the expertise, what I would do next is describe what each of those sets of numbers is after the names of all these prospective mental health professionals, but I don't know. And that would take more research than I have done for this episode, so I'm going to leave it here for now. If you would like an episode about what are all those letters after their names and what do they stand for and what should we be looking for, I will happily bring in an expert and talk about that. So let me know if that's something that you would like, and I will make that happen for you. In the meantime, I will just repeat, go with your gut. Like, please trust your gut. There's only so much you can trust your gut when you're looking at names on a screen, but once you're voice to voice, face to face, through a screen or not, with someone, like, trust how they make you feel. Trust how they make your body feel. If you feel safe, if you feel heard, if you feel respected, that's going to be the biggest green flag that you can have. I want to say thank you again to Janelle Peters for the resources that I was able to share with you. Those are in the show notes. Also, I'm going to put a link to Janelle themselves, and you can click on that. And if you want to and are able to work with them, highly recommend that you do that. And for an alternative approach, I can also recommend Sharon Loerzer. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but she works through Family Evolution Center in Ibiza, and takes calls internationally. I think this is more from a coaching standpoint, but I've worked with her a couple of times. Lovely woman. And I wish you good luck. Good luck, my friends. Find someone Find someone that you can count on and that you like talking to. For now, that's going to be the end of January for us, coming right on up, which means February 1st, Imbolc is coming up on Sunday. Also going to be the full moon. If you're like, what is Imbolc? It's Brigid's Day. If you're like, who is Brigid? Oh, I'm so excited that you asked. I have a podcast episode to give to you. It is one of mine, of course. I will put it in the show notes. I did it way back when. It's episode number 14, at the very beginning of this experiment. And there are historical descriptors of what Imbolc is and Brigid and how you can celebrate it if you wish. I'm so excited to be home for Imbolc this year. I've been in Mexico the past 2 years with Jenny Tufts at Sweet Retreats. But this year we had moved our dates earlier within January, and I'm so happy that I get to be in my home at my hearth for this holiday that is in honor of the goddess of the hearth and the home. And if you just want like a quickie on like what can I do to celebrate, clean your house. Clean your damn house. Brigid likes things that are orderly and clean and functional. She doesn't like it when things are just lying around rotting and they're broken and they need to be repaired or replaced. And it feels really, really good to prepare the home for her in this such a way. This is the real spring cleaning, y'all. And I'm excited for my flu to go away so that I will have the energy to do that. As well, that means that Woo Corner, my monthly newsletter, is coming at ya. And that'll probably be coming out on Monday, February 2nd. There's a link to that, of course, in the show notes. This podcast was inspired by a friend, student, listener, patron. You know who you are. Thank you so much, babes. I appreciate you. If you have requests for future episodes, you can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. This podcast is powered by Patreon, as is my entire life. Thank you so much to each and every one of my patrons for standing with me, for trusting me. This could not exist without you. And thank you to each and every one of you for letting me talk into your marvelous little ear holes for 23 minutes. I had to wait for it to cross over there. A very happy Imbolc to all of you. I know it's a lot right now. I know it's a lot. But take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Don't lose your focus. Don't lose your squishy insides, please. And don't go back to sleep.